All right, we're back with the Alvarez podcast. I've been on a sabbatical with Skrillex, David Guetta, and Kelvin Harris at a holistic Ibiza DJ retreat. So I just recently got back from that. I know you guys have been excited to get back to the show, and I am too. Um, Welcome to Alvarez podcast. Been around almost as long as Brett Bielema at a Golden Corral, and I'm your host, Scary Alvarez, Wine Island Enjoyer, Sherry Wine Destroyer, Jake Ferguson's grandpa, and Cindy's plus one when she'll have me. And today's going to be a really fun episode as we turn our attention back to Wisconsin basketball. Very excited to welcome freshman forward Jack Robison to the podcast. Welcome aboard.
What's up? I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, did this get you out of practice today, or you still have to do that stuff?
So Fridays we have off from practice right now in the summers, but we had a very tough workout this morning. Actually, we went over to Camp Randall, lifted in the football weight room, and then we went up to the upper deck of the stadium and ran those bleachers. So that was tough. It was pretty hot out there, and yeah, but so just got done with that, and you know it's been good. But I did
Cool,
have
cool.
I did have to go over there this morning. Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it has to be some inspiration especially on the downslope on the stairs there at Camp Randall, when you see Barry Alvarez Field there in
yeah,
front of you. It's got to be some inspiration knowing the athletic prowess that I myself brought to the game.
for sure. I'm not a huge fan of heights, so looking down there is not my favorite, but I do notice that on the field, down on the
Well,
sideline.
that's as Stephen Wright once said, it's better than being afraid of winds. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
All right.
for sure.
Well, remember to speak loudly and forcefully, as I noted on the outset. Pretend I'm Greg Gard, talking at the Big Ten Media Day after seeing Indiana picked ahead of Wisconsin for the 10th consecutive season.
Okay.
All right. I know if the real ones know why that's funny. Um, so let's start off by having you introduce yourself and tell my audience a few things that they should know about you. We'll get into more specifics, obviously, as we go.
All right, yeah. So I'm Jack Robison. I'm from Lakeville, Minnesota. That's probably familiar to a lot of Badger fans. There's been a few guys from Lakeville come through. But yeah, I have kind of grown up watching Badger basketball, and it's something I've been wanting to be a part of for a long time. Um, and so moved here to Madison this summer and started working out with the team and practicing and lifting, and it's been great. I'm starting to feel like I can play with these guys and really settling in, and it's been awesome. So I've loved it here so far.
Well, good. That's all good to hear, and I think it's very wise that you moved to Madison rather than trying to commute
From
every
yeah,
day from Lakeville. That would have been challenging.
would have been tough.
Um, yeah. So tell the Badger fans here about your game and why they should be excited to see you in the future.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I can do a little bit of a lot, like a little bit of everything. Guard kind of multiple positions on defense and offensively. Play like that 2, 3, 4 spot, and play a little bit of everything for us, and just kind of do what's needed. Like just finding my role here, and it's a lot of hit open shots. Crash the offensive boards and do stuff like that. Just kind of be an energy guy um, right now and just be that spark maybe for the team. And that's what I've been doing at practice, I think, and it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I know that you want to be the first Jack Robison. You don't want to be someone else. But are there any recent Badgers that you might compare your game to? I mean, that's not to say it's an exact overlay, but just that, to kind of orient fans with you, that at least aspects of your game and aspects of their game that would be evocative.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a different player than Tyler Wall, but I think I've just how hard he plays and stuff. I think I'm a little similar to him. Offensively, we're different players, but I look up to him and just the effort he gives and the energy. Yeah, offensively, I'm trying to think. I'm left-handed, so I'm trying to think back to some left-handed Wisconsin players.
We could put a pin in that. I mean, that's good to hear a lefty though. People, casual basketball fans especially, may not to overstate it, but there is a very different element having lefties in your lineup. It's not maybe quite as much as it is in baseball, but explain to folks what the difference is there.
Yeah, it's tougher to guard someone left-handed, I think, just because you're used to that same, right hand drive or right hand jump shot. It's just guarding a player completely opposite. So, I'm left-handed. I still, when I see a lefty, it's like, you see that on a scouting report, but it's still like just takes some getting used to because you're used to guarding right-handed players and, you know, the tendencies of someone right-handed. So it just kind of throws people off a little bit. So I think it is an advantage for sure.
Awesome. We'll keep this just between us. We're not going to let any of your opponents know that you're
Yeah,
left-handed. Just kind of spring that on them game by game.
yeah, yeah.
So I see. Obviously, we alluded to this, or you alluded to this earlier, that you grew up in the Twin Cities area. Tell my audience what it was like being raised a huge Badger fan in Gopher Country.
I honestly wasn't raised a huge Badger fan, but so I was, young when Nate Reavers was at Lakeville North. So then he went to Wisconsin. I started watching, and then Tyler went, and I just kind of you watch those guys are who you look up to going to high school games. You start watching them, and it's like you watch every single Wisconsin basketball game. So yeah, it's different. There are actually a lot of Badger fans in Minnesota, more than what people would think.
I absolutely have no trouble believing that there are a lot of Wisconsin fans up there. People ultimately like to see their team win and have success. It's a close border there. Did you enjoy beginning to watch Tyler Wall for the first time playing high school basketball when you were in the second grade?
Yeah. I I was probably when he started playing varsity, I probably was in elementary school. Yeah, which is
It's
crazy to
crazy.
think about.
It has it been cool getting to know his sixth grade kids and his wife?
Yeah,
Has that been kind of
yeah,
fun having an older mentor able to show what the family life is like?
for sure. Yeah, yeah,
That's good stuff.
yeah.
So you alluded to this. You played for Lakeville North, where of course Nate Reavers and Tyler also played. Is it going to be strange seeing a Greg Gard statue in front of your old high school someday?
They might as well put one out there. He's done well at Lakeville North for sure. So it'll be cool to see that out in front of Lakeville North for sure.
Maybe they could go more subtle and just have it be like the Greg Gard Court or the Greg
Yeah,
Gard
Greg
Arena.
Gardner. Yeah, for sure. That's what I was thinking too.
It's great stuff. We need to make those same inroads in Milwaukee. That'd be kind of fun to
Yeah,
see that too.
yeah.
Um, what has it been like living in a state without an NFL team?
You know, I am a diehard Vikings fan, so as
Oh,
much as I am a Badger fan, I am a Vikings guy. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes this year, I don't know. I think that might be an unfortunate thing this season, but I will always cheer for the Vikings, Twins, and Timberwolves.
yeah, emphasis on die hard. As far as the Vikings, I know you haven't seen a Vikings Super Bowl title in your lifetime. Just so you don't feel badly about that, in the
Yeah,
5.2 billion years that Earth has existed, there has also not been a Viking Super Bowl title.
yeah.
So
No,
don't feel like you missed the boat on that one.
I'm aware.
Okay, that's good stuff. Big
Yeah,
Jordan Love fan, I presume then.
I do. I like his game a lot. He's a good player. But some, Coach Krabbenhoft, our assistant coach, is the same way. He's, diehard Vikings fan. He hasn't changed. So,
I
you just
can't
gotta.
believe, yeah, that Greg Gard has allowed Joe to rise in the coaching ranks in the Wisconsin coaching pantheon while he was still rooting for the Vikings. Hey, by the way, I see the Vikings drafted a quarterback from the University of Michigan. I forget his name. I think the loose translation of it is career backup. But what are your thoughts on the Vikings draft this year? Just curious.
Um, you know, it hasn't looked great, in practice here for him this summer, but we do still have Justin Jefferson, and I think our defense will be solid. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough division. The Packers are going to be good. The Lions are going to be good. Caleb Williams with the Bears, so we'll see. I mean, it's not looking great for the Vikings, but I always have a little bit of hope, but I'm always kind of let down. But the Timberwolves are fun to watch this year. Anthony
They are
Edwards.
good. I will say the Timberwolves are good. It's
Yeah.
like the Bucks if the Bucks weren't ancient. Like the Bucks are 10 years younger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was, at least the Vikings would get to, they had a couple years where they would get down to the, NFC championship and into the playoffs. That Timberwolves I've never seen the Timberwolves go to, win a playoff series until this year. Same with the Twins, and got both of those this year. So that was pretty fun. But so
Twins,
maybe,
okay, the Twins. Yeah, I wasn't aware they still had a team there. Let's switch gears to Minnesota sports. I think we're going to get into crazy stuff like Wisconsin having more national titles than Minnesota in hockey. Even, but let's get back to the basketball stuff.
all right.
Um, what ultimately sold you on becoming a Badger and playing for Greg Gard? It might surprise you that some kids we recruit to Wisconsin end up not going to Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
what was the magic that made you sign that dotted line?
So they were the first school that recruited me that ever called. I had a call with and just forming that relationship with the coaches early, and then coming on a visit here, I always felt like comfortable. Like you know, I would love it here, and there would be no question. Like just with the team and with around the coaches and our strength coach and all that, I felt like I would truly like it here. It's like a family. The culture is second to none for sure. And I always just felt like this was comfortable for me. Like I could develop as a player and as a person. And there's a lot of value here on the type of person you are, and it shows like in our locker room. Our team is very connected, and it just goes to show the type of coaches and people that we have here. So I always felt like this was the place for me. There was really no question.
Well said, and it does echo what your new teammate Daniel Freitag said in his own recruitment. Obviously, you guys had little different types of recruitment,
Yeah,
but what he said was he felt like uh, Coach Gard and Krabenhoff and whoever else was pitching in that recruitment effort were always just kind of being honest with them and not putting too much pressure. Like you're going to be a superstar, or here's this Lamborghini,
yeah,
Texas. You never know what they're doing down there, but just kind of said, here's what Wisconsin has to offer. Here's the kind of environment you're going to be coming into, and we'd love to have you. Like that's the
yeah,
vibe I had from this type of, and that's different, obviously, Jack, than a lot of places recruit. And it's possible you might miss on some kids there, but it seems like you hit on the kids that really want to be Badgers. Is that
yeah.
fair?
I think that's what's really important is we just have guys in our locker room that really want to be here, and I think that's how you be successful, especially in today's game. People are bouncing around, and it is different, like recruiting for sure. But when you have people that really love the place and the people that they're around, I think that's when you can be really successful, and that's what we have here.
That's great. Were any guys on the team you'd be willing to mention who you really kind of connected with during recruiting?
Well, so Nolan Winter also went to Lakeville North, so he's been one of my best friends since I was, little kid. So him, obviously, Tyler Wall, Brad Davison too. He was on the team when I was getting recruited, and Connor Sejan too. I hung out with him a lot on my visits and really, really liked him and got to know him well. And I was a little disappointed he's not here this year, but that's okay. I mean, he's gonna do great at Nebraska, but just a lot of guys. Carter Gilmore too has been great for me, just showing me around. Max Klesmet too. Just everyone. It's just a family, and it sounds kind of cliche, but it really is.
Well, you mentioned it sounds cliche because I think maybe, when approaching college basketball, a lot of coaches and players use things like family
Yeah,
or great environment. what the vibe I have is not to say that no one else has that in college basketball, but the vibe I have is that when it's said about the Wisconsin program, it's genuine. I don't. This is not some canned or cliched answer. This is something that you've experienced as a recruit. Now you're experiencing as a member of the team
Yeah.
that I've heard echoed for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And it shows, we had Coach Ryan at practice on Tuesday, and, the fact that he comes back, and, Coach Krabanoff, Coach Chambliss, Coach Steamsman, they all played here and want to come back and still be a part of it, because it's something bigger than yourself. And, I really enjoy being part of that.
Did Coach Ryan's a legend, obviously, and congrats to him on his Hall of Fame induction soon. Did he jump off from the sidelines and get peeved at someone for making a fancy pass or something? It's just he's such a that's a joke, obviously, but like he's a straight shooter. But I know it's well publicized that him and Decker had a few clashes freshman year, and then after that year, Decker developed into the kind of player that's going to lead your team to a potential national championship. That's
Yeah,
one of the great things that Bo Ryan brought is that old school attitude. And you can correct me if I'm on the wrong path here. My vibe on Coach Guard is that he carries a lot of that same old school attitude, but maybe kind of fashions it into a little bit more of a modern feel than maybe some of the older, not just Ryan, but some of the coaches of his ilk and his generation brought. Is that a fair assessment of how Guard does it?
for sure. I think, we do a lot of like the drills that I think they've always done. A lot of the fundamental, partner passing and full court, passing and jump stop, like just very fundamental stuff that's super important. We do that a lot, but just also with Coach Penny coming in here now, just newer style of offense, and just adapting, and that seems to work at the NBA level with people like Greg Popovich, as he keeps that same kind of old school, like we need this to win, but also adapting to the new game and stuff like that. And I think we've done that pretty well here.
Agreed. And one thing I've noticed in recruiting recently, and this could be partially the influence of Kirk Penny, but going outside the United States borders to look for recruits. You got a Serbian recruit, a New Zealand recruit. Um, what are your thoughts on that? It seems like these are talented, great kids, but it's kind of exciting as a fan of the program to see those recruiting borders expanding,
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
expanding past Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. We still have 5 Minnesota guys on the team, so there is still that. But yeah, I mean, even with Marcus over on our team from Estonia, and some guys from Europe coming, and New Zealand, I think Coach Penny has played a part of that, and it is very exciting. Yeah, I never really thought I was going to be playing with someone from Serbia or something like that. I just thought it'd be a bunch of Minnesota guys, but
Yeah.
no, it is very cool.
Yeah,
I'm
and
excited for it.
as an aside, Giannis Antetokounmpo and his Greek team in the Olympics needs Serbia to win by 3 or more points in the next game for the Greek Freak and his lads to advance to the next round. So I know that's a big. I know as a Timberwolves guy, you just have to be a huge Giannis fan. So we'll all hope that happens.
Yeah, no, I do like Giannis. I like his game a lot.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I see that you also had offers from Minnesota and Nebraska. How hard was it to say no to Nebraska?
Very hard. They recruited me very hard, and I like their coaching staff a lot. But I just knew I wanted to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good call. Who is your favorite all-time Wisconsin basketball player?
um,
Let me, Jack. Let me
probably
interrupt you.
Sam.
I'm sorry.
Probably
Let me
Sam.
interrupt you. Okay. Let. Who didn't go to your high school?
Who didn't go to my high school? Yeah, probably Sam Decker. If you're not counting my high school.
Okay, yeah, Decker. I mean, we mentioned him a little bit
Johnny
earlier in the
Davis too.
podcast.
I loved watching him. Brad Davison. There's a lot of
Yeah,
guys.
Brad.
Bronson Koenig I liked a lot.
Yeah, all for different reasons, and all brought very different aspects to the Wisconsin program, and came in under slightly different circumstances. I mean, you were very young at the time, but Decker came in as a five-star McDonald's All-American type player with all the pressure in the world on him,
Yeah.
and Koenig actually was a pretty highly recruited player as well. Davison, well, he had a lot of offers, came in, and I felt like he had to come in and prove himself. You know, he got a lot of playing time as a freshman, but coming in as maybe a less heralded player had to kind of make his own type of game, and he obviously carved out a niche for himself for the Badgers for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So Nate Reavers, Tyler Wall, and Jack Robison all walk into a Madison bar. Jack
Okay.
Robison has to leave because he's only 18. That wasn't a question; it was a statement.
Yeah.
Um, let me, so give me your along those lines. Give me your impressions of Madison. I'm biased, obviously. I think it's the best city in the world, not named Ibiza, but tell us what there is to what drew you to Madison beyond just the basketball program stuff.
I mean, it is. I would agree with you that it's probably my favorite place I've been. Just with the lake and State Street and everything. There's always kind of just something to do, and I really enjoy it here. People are great. The lake is awesome. I like to go. I live about 2 blocks from Lake Mendota, so I go down there and have lunch or something with the team, and it's a great campus, great city for sure. I love it.
Yeah, it recruits itself. It recruits itself a little less in like January and February if they're recruiting visits and those. But you gotta project on what it's going to be in July or August.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm used to the cold, so it doesn't really bother me.
I think that might be something that helps with guard recruiting the Midwest so well, especially Minnesota, is that you're not trying to get a player from Los Angeles to. I think Fickle has a little bit harder of a job to not sell the city because Madison's great, it's a great campus, great college town, but that when Fick is recruiting DBs from South Florida, from the Dade, Miami-Dade area,
Yeah,
that is a tricky. When you get a guy like Xavier Lucas up here. Uh, Preferably, it's in the spring or summer because it's a little bit trickier.
yeah. Like Cam Hunter on our team, he's from Arkansas, and he's like, I don't have a winter coat. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to get one. It's gonna you're gonna have to get one for sure. It gets cold up here.
It's early, obviously. It's early August. How do you think this 24-25 Badger team is looking, and what are your thoughts about how they're going to develop?
I think we're really deep, and that's going to help us down the road. Um, we just got a lot of guys that can play, and we compete like every practice. It's just full out competition and energy and wanting to beat each other and push each other. But then like when we get into the locker room, it's that's over. Like we're best friends. We're gonna go get food together and hang out and do stuff like that. But just our competitiveness and togetherness and how deep we are, I think it's gonna take us a long ways.
That's great to hear, and it's something I've heard echoed from other players, and it seems to be a common theme for the Wisconsin program. For as far back as I can remember, is that there's a lot of team cohesion. You're not getting a trip to France this summer like some of the kids did a couple years ago, but that's all right. You'll make do.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna play a word association game. This is a hallmark of my podcasts, and I'm
Okay.
just gonna ask you what immediately comes to your mind when I say the following names or things. All right, Daniel Freitag.
My roommate.
Okay, is is one of you like cleaner and more neat as far as the room, or do you guys have similar styles as far as how you do it?
Honestly, we're both pretty clean. Like we do a good job of keeping stuff clean. Right now we're in a big apartment, so we have our own room and have a kitchen, but in the fall we're moving into a dorm, so being right in the same room, that might be a little different. But I mean, we're both pretty clean, and I've really enjoyed living with him. He has been my roommate for AAU for probably 3 years, 4 years. So we have lived together before, but yeah, it's been great.
Oh, good. It's good to hear. What dorm they move y'all into? Is there a basketball specific dorm, or do you live in Og Hall, or is it up by the lake?
We live in Smith Hall, so it's just right behind the Kohl Center. I think all the sports except for football, I think, are there.
Gotcha. Smith Hall. Okay.
Fresh.
Well, that's a new one. I'm from back in the day when the area where the Kohl Center was a field next to the
Oh, okay.
surf. Yeah, the old. I mean, obviously I've seen the changes since then. I love the Kohl Center, but like I've been there a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with another one. The Hill.
Scary.
Scarier than Scary Alvarez, buddy. That's
Yeah.
do some carb loading before you do that.
Yeah. It's pretty daunting, like at the bottom of it, knowing we're gonna have to run it. But when you got your teammates gonna pick you up and looking out for each other, I think we'll get through it for sure.
Awesome. I'm betting on you. PJ Fleck.
Roll the boat. Yeah, a lot of people in Minnesota love him. Yeah, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of different sayings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, different saying. That's definitely a good thing for a college coach. Other answers that would have been accepted are world's most okay college football coach, and also 3 games under 500 in the Big Ten after 7 years at Minnesota. So it's fine. Those are the alternative answers. Finally, Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson. He's a tight end, right?
Oh boy, Jack, you're breaking my heart, buddy. Yes, he is a tight end. He's also the world's greatest grandson of
Okay.
yours truly, and also, as we'll see this year, we saw glimpses of last year, including in the game against the Packers in the playoffs. One of the finest and most ascending young tight ends in the National Football League.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure, he's a great player.
You do fantasy football?
I played a lot of fantasy football with my
Okay.
friends back home. Yeah.
Jake Ferguson is a name you can get him after some of those tight ends that aren't going to do as much this year off the board.
Yeah.
That's just a little insider stock tip there on for
Awesome.
fantasy football.
Oh, for sure.
Grab Jake.
He's there.
Awesome. Hey, well, we could go forever because I love to talk. I haven't even talked about myself much, which could extend the length of this by a lot. But Jack, thanks so much for your time. Very, very appreciative and excited to see how this 24-25 Badger squad kind of coalesces and evolves. I'm very bullish on the team's chances this year. I know things seemed a little bleak at portions of the spring before we, kind of filled that roster out, but I think it's setting up to be a real nice Badger team. And I wish you all the luck in the world, and hopefully we can get you back on again in the future.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you for having me. And I agree with you. I think we're going to have a good team this year, and I'm excited too.
Absolutely. And we got to get those fans and basketball, standing up and really, pulling the team through those close games. I know that the student section gets sometimes unfairly maligned, but I do think it's a great fan base who is absolutely hungry and eager for a deep tournament run for the Badgers this year.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, Jack.
You too. Thanks for having me.